This is episode 2 of the Big Little Business podcast. So here this evening I have got Amy from Just the Gift, and her shop is on Maldon High Street.
Thank you for having me tonight.
No, it's lovely to have you here.
Well,
it really is.
I'm really excited to be here tonight because I know that you've just set this up and it's brilliant for local businesses. So, I mean, a thank you to you, Paul, who you can't see at the moment on the camera.
I'm here. Hello.
But thank you very much for having me and letting me talk about my business tonight.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you here, and it's nice to know that there is more businesses that want to get involved as well, and you are our first on here. You are our first business on the Big Little Business podcast. So what do you do in the shop? What is it that you
Okay,
do
so
there?
we're a gift shop. We sell all sorts of randoms, is what our customers like to say. We sell more little gifty pieces, so it's mugs, we do wax melts, cards, but we also do things like little vases, little kids' toys, a bit of jewellery, all sorts of like little random bits, but that don't cost a fortune. You know, we try and keep most of the products under £20, but a lot of them are around the sort of £10 mark and under, really.
Yeah, which is what people want. That's what people need, especially this day and age. That is exactly what they need.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. We haven't been going that long, but we have had a really positive response so far from all the customers. We've been so grateful for their response. We've had so many people come in the shop and say how nice it looks and things like that, which is so wonderful to hear because you put everything into it. And you always worry how your shop's going to be perceived by other people, if they're going to love it as much as you love it, because you think you've got a great idea, you think it looks great, but what really matters is do the customers like it? Do they think it looks good? Do they think your products are good? So far been a really good response from Maldon and all the people of Maldon and surrounding areas, so we've been very, very pleased so far.
Oh, fantastic. I've been in the shop and I absolutely love it. There's some amazing products in there, and we have bought a few products, and as you've seen from one of our previous videos, we do actually have the personalised mugs, which Amy made for us, and we absolutely love them.
This one?
Yeah.
This is one here. And yeah, it's a beautiful little shop, but it's very family orientated as well, which is really nice.
Well, we try and keep it as family friendly as possible. We try to make it as accessible as possible for people with wheelchairs, people with pushchairs. That was quite a big thing with our layout of the shop. We could have fitted, if you like, more shelving, more products in the shop, but we want people to be able to get round it, be able to feel comfortable moving around the shop, because as well as that, there are products that are breakable on the shelves, so when people bring in little kids, you don't want to be scrunched up in a tiny little alleyway. You want a bit of space to move around, so you don't feel like you're going to knock things off the shelves and then feel like, oh my god, I've got to buy them or anything like that. So we did put a lot of thought into how the shop was laid out. Yeah,
that's brilliant. No, that's really good, and I think a lot of business could take something from that as well. A lot of other businesses could, in making it accessible for everybody.
Well, I've worked shop work for quite a few years, management and sort of working my way up to management. So I have seen a lot of different retail settings, if you like. Health and safety aspect of shops, what I feel has worked in other shops and what hasn't, but we're always willing to take on other people's opinions as well. When other people come in the shop, that quite often they will give you, oh, I really like this, or I think you could do this better, or someone was saying to me not that long ago, I could have had higher shelving so I could fit more products out on the shelves. But I said realistically, I felt that was a little unsafe to have shelves too high up, because then you've got people reaching up to try and get products down. If products then fall down on people's heads, it's a health and safety nightmare for a company. So I said, well, I would have loved to have had more shelving up, more products out for people to buy, but I also don't want to health and safety risk on my hand.
Plus, you know, for people like me who are vertically challenged,
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to reach the the top shelf.
I'm one of them that I would probably try and climb the shop. You know what I mean? And I would probably end up pulling everything down on top of myself. So I am the person that I'm trying to save myself from.
yeah, you don't want that. You don't, especially if you've got kids in there as well.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got something high up and
they
try and climb to get it. You don't need that.
I have a question. Sorry. So you said you've not been going that long. When did you start having the concept for this, and when did you actually open the shop up?
Okay, so well, it was probably around the beginning of this year. To be fair, yeah. I was working as a manager in another retail store. We had quite a bit of savings in the bank. Now, as we all know, it's come up to cost of living crisis. Because I was working as a manager for a charity, my wages weren't that good as they was in my previous employment, but you expect that with a charity shop manager position, that you're not going to be paid as well. Then you start looking at, you're going to start dipping into those savings just on regular things, you know, whether it's your heating bills coming in, a bit of extra shopping here and there. You kind of think it's just all going to dwindle away, and I don't want it being dwindled away on everyday things. Yeah. So we started to think more about, realistically, what we could do to better our situation. So I suggested to my husband, I thought that we should open our own business. Why not? We've been, you know, I've been working it for other people for so long. Why not do it ourselves? Yeah.
So was he open to that suggestion? I know he's sitting off camera.
Yeah. He looked a bit frightened when I first told him. I'm not going to lie.
He looks frightened now.
Yeah. I think he turned a bit white for a moment. Like, are you being serious that, you know, you're going to spend all that money? And I was like, yes, I'm being very serious. Yes, I'm spending all the money. So we discussed it over the next sort of few weeks, and then we were sort of discussing ideas. What sort of shop did we want? Where would we want the shop? Just all the sort of ins and outs of it. And I think I told you earlier, originally we'd looked at the idea of a toy shop. Yeah. And that kind of really excited us because we are, I was going to say fans of toys. Sounds a bit, but I suppose we're a bit geeky. We like you know, Lego, lightsabers, you know, silly things like that. Yeah. So I think it was more of the child inside of us dream to have a toy shop. But when we looked at other shops that were around us, it felt like we wouldn't be able to compete with their prices. Yeah. When you've got bigger stores, etc. So then it sort of changed, and I was like, right, well, a gift shop, everyone needs a gift for someone, you know, for an occasion and that. But we're a slightly different sort of gift shop, I think. We do a lot of random stuff in there, little gifty bits, from sort of gothic-y bits we've got, yeah, all your sort of personalised, nice. We do have some adult humour mugs in there, as you know, yes. And some sort of adult humour cards. But yeah, it's hard to describe without sort of having in the shop what we actually do, but I don't think we stand out as your regular gift shop. Yeah,
but I think that's what makes you stand out anyway, is when people come in and then they come back out and they're like, I was not expecting that. Yeah. You know, which is great, because I think that's what a lot of people want.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we didn't want it to be the same as everything else that's around us, because what would be the point? You need to have something slightly different to make people want to come back to buy at your shop rather than someone else's. But at the same time, you don't want to do the same products as someone down the road to you and feel like you're trying to outdo them. Yeah. Or compete with them, because I don't think that's very nice. I mean, as you know, we met through our shops. Yeah, we did. Being a couple of doors away from each other, and got on really well. We've got that nice community feel down our area of the town. We've got a few other shops, and we all come out, we all chat to each other. You don't want to be in a position where you feel like I'm competing with you. Yeah. You know, we're selling the same products, so I've got to try and outdo you. We want that community. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're all struggling to a certain degree to stay afloat because of the cost of living crisis. So we need to help each other. And part of why I love what you're doing, you and Paul doing this podcast, because you're trying to help local businesses.
Yeah.
And that's really important at the moment, because we are literally all struggling to stay afloat.
Yeah.
I mean, during the summer, we tended to do quite well on sales, but as you know, since the colder weeks are coming, less and less people have been coming out buying. I mean, I know that we're hitting the Christmas season now, so we're all intending that we're going to pick up sales through the Christmas period. However, it has been very quiet the last few weeks.
It has.
And if you're not getting money in the shop, you're not getting paid.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that was the most difficult thing, I think, for me, going from a paid job where I know at the end of each month I've got my wages coming in, to a job where if people don't come in and buy at my shop, I've got no money coming in.
Yeah.
That has been quite difficult, but at the same time, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. It's been the most exciting 6 months I've ever had, I think, in work, because I'm free to do what I like. Does that make sense?
No.
Well, not so much do what I like, but
Your husband's sitting off camera going, oh no.
but you can think of something and you can go, do you know what, I can just do that. I don't have to approach an area manager or a bigger boss and go, can I do this? Can I set this up? Can I put this in? I can just go, oh wow, do you know what, I've got this idea. Let's implement it. Let's go for it.
You've got
So-
the freedom to do that.
Absolutely, and I find that so exciting. And it's been hard work, sleepless nights, and I'm shattered sitting here talking to you because you know I've been working all day again. But at the same time, it has been amazing, absolutely amazing. And we said, if nothing else, because we know that in the first few years of business, most businesses go out of business. Because it is that hard to get your customers, retain your customers, etc.
Yeah, and retain that consistency.
Absolutely. But at the same time, we kind of went, if nothing else, it's a journey. We would have experienced something.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, we never have done anything like this in our lives. We had the opportunity. We could have just gone, oh, play it safe. But we've gone, no, do you know what? This is it. It's either now or never. If we don't do nothing, we're going to be stuck exactly where we were. We're never going to have moved on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, we go under. We've lost all our money. You can't cut me off. So that is worst case scenario, and obviously we don't want that to happen. But like I said, if nothing else, we would have experienced something we never would have if we didn't take the chance to go for it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really good. But it's amazing that, you know, you have taken that opportunity.
Yeah.
It's great that you see it as a journey, and I like that you're not staying kind of stagnant and this, you know, let's go and challenge ourselves and put ourselves out there and take that little risk and a gamble, because I think it takes, as you say, with a financial situation, it takes an awful lot to just take that leap of, even if you are financially secure, I think it's the risk of that fear of failure, not wanting to fail. But if you don't fail, you don't learn and you don't get better. So you've kind of got to do it to fail. But whilst you're on that journey, it's just the small failures and taking the wings out of that as well.
I mean, believe me, always in the back of my head, I don't want to fail. I don't want to be seen that I've had this shop, I've done this, I've done that, and it's all gone under, and I failed at doing it. But like I said, over 50% of businesses will fail within their first year. That is fact, because you run out of money, and you run out of money quickly. The expense of starting up a business like we did is a massive expense. But at the same time, like I said, it was an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
If we didn't take that chance, eventually I think that all our money would have gone anyway. like savings wise, like I said,
All toys and Lego.
a lot has gone on toys and Lego, I'm not going to lie. And a nice new car for me this year. But yeah, I mean, we would have been dipping in eventually to pay for things like bills and that. And I really didn't want to just be like, you know, oh well, it's just one of those things. I wanted to put us in a better situation. To be fair, I may have put us in a worse situation at the end of it. And we knew that going into it. And I said to my children, you know, realistically, we've put everything into the business. We could lose it all. And my daughter just went to me, don't worry about it, Mum. She was like, you know, she went, I'm so excited. I'm so pleased that you're doing that. And when you hear that from your 15-year-old child, that they're willing you on, they're really excited for you to have something in your life like that.
Yeah.
It just spurred me on even more. I was like, do you know what? Yeah, we are doing the right thing. Like I said, at the end of it, we could have failed. No one wants to, but it's a big possibility for all businesses. But
did you have anyone that said, what on earth are you doing? You're nuts.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Probably more people said that than supported us, to be fair. Even my parents.
This won't go out to anyone. It's your secret safe.
No, it's fine, because I'm sure they would tell you. I thought I was crazy. And when I told my mum, she just went, she said, I'm not telling your dad. And I was like that. She's like, she said, oh, you know, until it's all set up. And she said, I'm not telling your father. She's like that. Oh God. I was like, just say something nice. And then we rented the shop, and it did need a lot of work doing to it. And when they actually come down to visit the shop, we'd knocked walls down, but we hadn't put walls back up and things like that. And it looked like a proper building site. She's just walked in. She's like, oh my God. You know, and then my dad's just, here we go. And he just looked at me, he said, your head's not on your shoulders, is it, girl? And I said, well, it's firmly there, Dad, look. You know, and he's like, oh no, you know. He said, you know, you live in the clouds, you do. And I was like, come on, look, yes, it looks like a building site, but it's not going to look like this in a few weeks' time. Don't worry, I've got this.
Yeah.
And yeah, in their faces, you could tell they didn't think that I had got this at all. But once we done up the shop and they come in, they was like that. Wow, it looks really good in here. Oh my, what you've done. And we did take pictures throughout of the walls being knocked down and all sorts. And yeah, I mean, we're proud of what we've done. And even then, since then, my mum and dad both turned around and said they're very proud of me. But I think they thought, yeah, we are in a cost of living crisis. It's crazy opening a shop right now when so many people are closing down shops, which they are. And I totally agree. It was probably not the best time that we could have picked to do that. But we kind of felt like it was a now or never.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said to you, I told a local paper that I had a midlife crisis. And that's why I opened the shop. I was only joking. Because I was like, oh, I turned 40 this year, I had a midlife crisis. I haven't had a midlife crisis. Everyone probably thinks I have had doing that. But I would say to anyone, if you are thinking about doing it, if you know, not so much a shop, but if it was a shop, yeah, but any sort of business, just go for it. Because otherwise you're always wondering, would it have done well? Wouldn't it have done well? It could have changed my life. I mean, for me, I would like to still be going in a year from now, in 2 years from now. I'd like it to be something I could bring my children into, that possibly they could take over one day if that's what they wanted. If they didn't want nothing to do with it, that's fine as well. But it's also something that I'd love to think that we could expand and we could employ other people, you know, local people, give them jobs and bring more back to the high street as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, we're 2 shops apart.
Yeah.
There are empty shops on our row. And we are down the bottom of the high street, which does not do as well as the top of the high street for no one that doesn't know Maldon very well. But you definitely get a bigger footfall at the top of the high street.
Yes.
And we are struggling more down at the bottom.
Which is, you know, why we're kind of doing what we're doing with the podcast. It's, you know, it's small businesses, independent businesses like yours that we want to get, you know, people down the bottom end of High Street. You know, remember we're there. We're just a little bit further down.
Just a little bit of a further bottom. You found a gold mine. Because we've got some lovely shops down there.
There's some beautiful shops down there, and they're all different and they're all unique. You know, there's not one shop that's the same, which is lovely, but it's just getting the people just to go a little bit further down the High Street
and find the little gold mine of shops. Because that's it. I mean, I love to come into your shop. You know, I've bought out of your shop as well.
And vice versa. I've been in yours, and
that's
I
it.
love it.
But that's it. And there's shops that you don't necessarily find everywhere. It's not the same mass-produced stuff everywhere that you find. I mean, we do sell like handmade stuff from local people in my gift shop as well, don't we?
Going to mention them about your handmade,
so we
bespoke.
have people making like hand making wax melts in our shop. We've got all the handmade decorations, which you made us some handmade decorations this year as well. Some beautiful baubles you made us, and we also had some other people make some tree decorations. So we had the felt gonks and the little gingerbread men and that. We've got knitted like clothes hampers and things like that. So we try our hardest to get people from the local community their stuff in our shop. We've got the leather biscuit. I think they call. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm sure it's biscuit. But she does like leather handbags and things like that. You've seen them in our shop, but we've got like little leather key rings and things like that she does. And she's a local lady that makes everything out of leather, and it's such beautiful stuff. So we try as hard as we can to get as many local people involved in our shop as well. Because realistically, they can't afford a shop, or they're only selling a few little bits, that it's not that they could fill a whole shop with what they've got. But it's still important for them to be able to sell their products.
Yes, definitely.
And with a shop, generally, people will see it. You know, they go past the shop window, they come in, they can see it there on the shelf. So it then gets their products out there as well. It's not just, if you like, one of my husband's products that we're selling and trying to get out there. We are trying as much as we can to help others in the local community, because if you like, we needed other people to help us to spread the word about that our shop is there, to tell their friends, oh yes, I've been in this shop, it's really good, etc. So it is just about supporting everyone around you, and
that's what you need on a high street.
Absolutely,
that is exactly what you need on a high street.
I mean, at the moment, like I said, with so many shops going under, you've got to support each other, really, really do. You can't even sort of state it any more than that. You know, you've just got to be mindful of what you're doing and how you're affecting other shops around you. Just try and be really courteous to all the neighbouring shops around you as well, and generally you'll find that they will do the same for you. And like, I don't know how many customers come into my shop and said they've been in your shop and you told them about our shop, so they've come in and that's it. And to us, that was amazing that when we started that shop, immediately you welcomed us with open arms. Immediately you was like telling everyone else, oh, pop in and see them. And without people like you, we would have struggled more at the beginning. And because it is really hard to get your name out there and get people to realise you're there, basically. Especially at our end of town. The bottom end of town. Whereas, I mean, if we was in a more prominent location, maybe not so much, because people would see you as they go past. but it meant so much to us that you and other people like you were telling everyone and supporting us and going, you know, you can do this, and people pop down to her shop, you know, meant more than you'll ever know.
Yeah, but that's what businesses need. That's what independent businesses want. But
not everyone is like that. I hate to say.
Before we wrap this up, is there or are there any quick tips you could give to people who want to start a business or are just starting out?
Oh, quick tips! I should have really thought about this one before I come on here. I would say that not everything has to cost as much as you think it does. Mm-hmm. I mean, silly things that I spent probably more money on than I should have, because I possibly either didn't look around enough before I started, Attil being one of them. I spent a hell of a lot of money on Attil, and everyone goes, oh, I love Attil, I've never seen one like that. Yeah, there's a reason for that.
You look even more worried.
I'm not even sure I told him how much it cost, because I think he'd cry. But realistically, we could have done exactly the same job with
a more basic.
A more basic till. So yeah, I would say probably look around more, research everything, because I mean, to be honest, had I researched more going up and down the high street, I possibly would have paid out more money to have a shop further up the high street. But then there's no regrets, because I wouldn't have met you probably. You know what I mean?
We would have eventually.
But that's it. I hold no regrets about what I've done. You live and you learn, and I'm learning a lot as I'm going. But yeah, I would say definitely, whatever it is, just research. Look around for all the best prices, because you probably could. You've got something that looks amazing, but you could probably do with paying less on something that does exactly the same job, holding that money back, because in the first 6 months, year, you are going to go through that money. It's amazing how quickly you can go through all the funds you've got saved. Just on all basic stuff. I mean, it's all the little things that you don't sort of think about so much to start off with. Your paper or your stationery, how much that's going to cost you on a regular basis. I mean, the labels that I use on my products cost me £25 a time. Yeah. And I think it's up for something like 800 labels. Realistically, that's a lot of money. Would I have bought a different label printer to start off with had I have known how much it was going to cost me in the long run? Probably. And it is something that I probably will change in the future. But I've got this product now, so I'm going to use it. The same as my till. So yeah, I would say do your research, because it's easy to get carried away when you're starting something new and you're so excited and you just want to get everything done. You just want to get in there and get it all sorted and up and running. Try and hold back a little bit and think more logically with your head than your heart, and do a bit of research. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Oh, brilliant.
On that note, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been lovely to have you.
Good luck.
Oh, I love you. Thank you for having me.